Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to another episode of my trucker vlog. And today I'm going to answer the question, is working for Barr Nunn worth it? And my answer is yes, it's absolutely worth it. But you must follow the number one rule when it comes to listening to advice from a trucker. Consider the context. So this whole video is going to be all about me laying out the context of the question of the answer, which is yes, so that hopefully you'll have enough information in this video about what it's like to work for Barr Nunn so that you can decide whether or not Barr Nunn is good for you. Now, if at the end of this video you decide that you want to work for Barr Nunn and you end up going to barrnunn.com and talking to a recruiter, tell them that I sent you. My name is Paul Johnson and my truck number is 3560. And that way that I can get a referral bonus, which is about $1,500. But I will not pressure you or try to convince you to work for Barr Nunn. Just get that $1,500 because I get $1,000 to $1,300 a week. So if I need that much money, I just wait a week, So that's how you know that what I'm about to tell you is not bullshit. So you do get paid 67 cents a mile, and that's how much I'm getting paid. If you have a hazmat endorsement, you'll get paid 70 cents a mile. And if you're a hazmat driver with them, not all your loads are going to be hazmat loads, but you'll get paid 70 cents a mile regardless, just for having that hazmat endorsement. So that's a huge benefit there. I'm personally am most likely not going to do it. I'm most likely not going to not get a hazmat endorsement because there's a little bit extra hassle that comes with it, a little bit extra responsibility that comes with it. And I don't think it's worth the extra 3 cents a mile for me personally, because I'm going to be getting a half-cent raise every 3 months, which means I'll be able to eventually work my way up to 70 cents a mile anyway. Now, let's just say if you are making 70 cents a mile working for Barr Nunn, that means that you'll be able to work your way up to 73 cents a mile. So just keep that in mind. I think that that's something that's worth doing if you plan on being a trucker for a long time. For me, I only plan on being a trucker. In my context, I only plan on being a trucker long enough to get $150,000 in savings, and then my ass is immigrating to another country. And I got a whole video that I made about on why I want to immigrate to another country. So this is the context. Consider the context. If you want to be a trucker for a long time, and you have less than 3 years experience, but you got a minimum of 9 months experience, and you want to be, like I said, you want to be a trucker for 10 plus years, then yeah, I recommend you getting a hazmat endorsement and a tanker endorsement, any other endorsements you can, because in the long run, you'll make a lot more money. For me, I'm not trying to make all the money in the world. I'm just trying to make enough to immigrate to another country and build a life from scratch, because trucking isn't my calling. It's just something I'm doing for money. And my calling is that I want to build a space program. And I got a whole other channel called Terran's Space Program where I talk about it. And worst case scenario, if my dream fails, then I'll just end up being a math, engineering, or physics professor somewhere. But so that's my dream. That's my life. That's what I'm trying to do with my life. Yeah. Anyway, here's some things. I just told you about the pay. And so there is a half-cent raise every 3 months. There's also a safety bonus that you get. But the bottom line is paycheck. And I already covered that. It's $1,000 to $1,300 a week after taxes. When it comes to your trailers, it's going to be dry van load only type of trucking job. So you'll be hauling 53-foot trailer dry vans. Most of those trailers are made by Wabash. And when it comes to the quality of the equipment, I'm actually absolutely impressed by how well Barr Nunn takes care of their tractors and trailers. I can only think of 2 occasions in which a trailer actually did not pass a pre-trip inspection. And both times, it was because a marker light on the back wasn't working properly, thus making it not street legal. And in that situation, I just called up the dispatch, let them know what's going on. I find another empty to hook up to. But I can tell you the quality of the tandem tires, every time I do a pre-trip inspection on a trailer, the tires almost look brand new almost every single time. as opposed to US Express, where they only put retreads on their trailers. So yeah, they took good care of their trailers. They took good care of their tractors. And when it comes to my tractor, um, I'm gonna tell you about breakdown pay. You get breakdown pay for every 24 hours you broke down, but you're not going to be broke down that often. As long as you do your pre-trips correctly, and you do what you're supposed to do to take care of the truck, and everything should be fine. Um, very and like on a scale of 1 to 10 on how often I go into a shop, I give it a 1, maybe a 2. In comparison to U.S. Express, scale of 1 to 10, it's going to be like an 8. And then scale of 1 to 10 with Wilson Logistics, it's like a 12. It's off the scale. And what's weird is that when I was driving for Wilson Logistics, I was driving a 2023 Freightliner Cascadia, and that didn't have all that many miles on it. I can't remember the exact miles I had on those on the 3 different tractors that I drove for Wilson Logistics, but they were very, very low amount of miles for a tractor. And they don't drive anything. You won't drive anything more than 2 years old if you work for Wilson Logistics. And but go to U.S. Express. It was a 2021 Freightliner Cascadia that I drove in, and I was in the shop all the freaking time. I'm driving a 2021 Freightliner Cascadia right now for Barr Nunn, and it had 407,000 miles on it when I got it. But yet, this thing is more reliable than the other 2 trucks that I had. And the most I've ever been broke down was 3 days, but that's only because I had 3 nicks on a windshield, and 2 of those 3 nicks was spaced so close together that it was classified as a DOT violation. So dispatch had me go to his shop immediately, so I stay out of trouble. And I went there on a Friday night after hours, and I had to wait all the way until Monday morning, because if you're a mechanic and you work for Barr Nunn, it's a Monday through Friday job. But that's okay, because by the time I got out of there on Monday, I got paid $460. So divide $460 by 3. That's how much you get paid per 24 hours broke down. But let's see. I covered the fact that it's dry van only. I covered bonuses, breakdown pay, and your loads. I will tell you this. It's drop and hook on both ends. So you're not wasting so much time on live loads and live unloads. Every once in a while, you'll get a live load or live unload type of load assignment, but it's pretty rare. And you also pick up and deliver the same day, most of these loads. So it's going to feel like you're not getting that many miles. But they have been kept me consistently driving so much that twice already I had to ask dispatch to give me a little bit of extra time in between load assignments, just so I could have time to get laundry done. So that's how often they keep you on the road, despite a lot of these short loads. Now, every once in a while, they'll actually give you a long load. Like, load I just finished, took me 2 days to actually deliver. And but that's fine. Also, when it comes to safety equipment inside the truck, they do have a safety camera that watches your left and right and front. They have an inward-facing camera, but it does not work. And they even let you put tape on the inward-facing camera if it makes you feel better. So there's that. But don't let that fool you. This is a job that will not tolerate stupid truckers. And I'll say it again, they do not tolerate stupid truckers. Especially if you're stupid enough to use a cell phone while hauling a tractor and trailer down the road. They're not going to put up with that shit. And because the one of the side-facing cameras will actually pick up the reflections of you using your phone, because it'll reflect light off the windows, and they'll tell you. And about like, so far I've gotten a message. I know of about 3 truckers that have already gotten fired for using their phone while driving a truck, and good riddance, because that's stupid. If you can't stay off your phone that long, you got a problem. But of course, I grew up in the 90s, where we knew how have a life without being hooked to your damn phone all the time. And I understand cell phones are useful. We do everything on them. But you gotta be a grown up and control yourself. There's plenty of ways to occupy your mind while going down the road. Like for me personally, I like to listen to a podcast while going down the road. So I hit play on a podcast episode I find on YouTube that's like a couple hours long, and then I hit the road. I don't touch that screen again. I don't touch my phone's screen again until I'm pulled over to do a bathroom break or something and start another podcast. Or I have an app on my phone where I study Spanish while going down the road, and I don't even look at my phone. It's one of those things where it's like an audio lesson, and you basically repeat what you hear, but it's not distracting. And but I don't touch my phone screen while I'm driving, so that helps. And actually, it was the safety director at Barr Nunn that introduced me to the idea of using a phone app like that for studying Spanish, because I had like a little notepad that I would read while I'm driving, going down the road. He explained to me that's not safe, and he encouraged me to find an audio option. So I looked for an audio option, and I found one. And so, just working for Barr Nunn has caused me to study Spanish more effectively and more safely. There's that. So, let's see. What else I haven't covered here? Covered breakdown pay, and started talking about safety. Oh, yeah, let's talk about safety and weather. There's been a few times. Now, I'm going to tell you something about the loads. The average weight of my loads has been around 10,000, like 9,000 to 20,000 pounds. So you're hauling pretty light loads, which means that you got to keep a little closer eye on wind speed and wind gusts, and which you're supposed to be doing that anyway if you're a professional trucker. And there's been a few times already where I was forced to pull over because wind gusts were too bad, and I called up the dispatch, and they made it very clear to me that it's my call as a driver to make the safety call whether or not it's not safe to drive in the weather when the wind's too bad. And usually what it is that if wind gusts get so bad to where I'm having to drive like 45 miles an hour or slower on the freeway to keep from being tipped over, I pull the hell over. I don't risk it. It's not worth my life. And what's cool is that Barr Nunn will honor that decision. And there's been a few times where that's happened several times already because it's winter. And I had where I parked somewhere, and twice already I had another Barr Nunn driver come and pick up my load, because it turns into what's called a split load at that time, where we swap trailers and I get his empty and he gets my loaded. And this driver goes down the road despite it not being safe to drive on the road and the light load and it being too windy. And I'm looking at the trucker and I'm like, dude, man, you're crazy, and they're like, oh man, I've been doing this for 20 years, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, man, it's your life, and then I call up dispatch, and twice I've had this conversation with them. I said, look, man, I'm not trying to be a snitch on this other driver, but this dude's going to get himself killed. I mean, it's way too damn windy. What's going on here? And they explained to me and here's what's Barr Nunn's responses to that. They say that it's totally up to the driver whether or not they determine it's not safe to drive. But if that person decides to drive in high wind conditions and they get in an accident, it's on them. They'll lose their job. That is if they don't lose their life. But they said that they'll completely honor it about that. And so that means that I don't have to worry about being macho and trying to do something that's unsafe in order to keep my job. They made it clear to me that it does not hurt job security if I decide to make a safety call and pull over. And they say, if you need to do that, you need to do that. That's fine, and which is great, because I'm 39. I'm turning 40 this March, and I'm too old for that macho bullshit. I'm not going to risk my life over a damn load. It's not worth it. You can't spend that money if you're dead. So anyway, so that's how they approach safety. They'll harp about safety. They'll make you watch safety videos every month, but they actually follow through on it, unlike some trucking companies out there. Now, remember when I tell you that many times you'll actually deliver on the same day you pick up and all that stuff? It doesn't feel like you're getting many miles, you're getting enough miles to where you're getting paid $1,000 to $1,300 a week after taxes. So, but you're working at a pace in which they keep you busy to the point to where maybe you have to call dispatch and say, hey, I need some time between loads to do laundry, but it's not to a point where you get burned out. So it's actually at a safe pace. So you're not burning out, which is great. That's a huge deal in trucking companies. Now, let's see. When it comes to navigation, they have what's called an OmniTrack device in the truck. It's an electronic log device. And it used to be called a Qualcomm, but now it's called OmniTrack. And they are planning on phasing it out for, I don't know, something better sometime this year. So just keep that in mind. And they do have built-in navigation on it. They got some kind of trucker GPS built into it. I don't recommend using it. It seems like a piece of crap. I use a Rand McNally. I highly recommend that you invest in a Rand McNally and the latest up-to-date Rand McNally Deluxe Edition laminated trucker atlas, and kind of cross-reference with that. But of course, don't trust your GPS 100%, cross-reference with your atlas. I also sometimes cross-reference with Google Maps. I don't use Google Maps for navigation because that's suicide when you're a trucker, but Google Maps is a good way to check for like live road conditions. I use it to check for road closures. But that's just something I recommend you do navigation wise. Let's see. They do let you take some extra time off between loads if you need to do laundry. There's not enough time to do laundry if you're ever in that situation. And also they give you a fridge and a microwave when you get into this truck. Now let me look at my list here, see if there's anything that I haven't covered. Let's see. Yeah, I pretty much covered everything. So is Barr Nunn worth it? It's worth it for me. Whether or not it's worth it for you is completely up to you. But like I said, the number one rule when listening to trucker advice is consider the context. And my context is that I'm an over-the-road trucker who lives out of his truck. Everything that I own is either in this truck or it's in a couple storage containers that's inside my sister's shed at her house. And I am just trying to be on the road as much as possible, and I plan to only visit my family like once a year, which is Christmas. And Barr Nunn lets you go home a lot more than that. The option's there if you need that, but I just want to be on the road and grind and stack up Benjamins in the bank as much as I can, get to the $150,000 as quickly as I can, and then get my ass to Argentina before this country completely falls apart. But that's just me. But I hope this video helps you out. I hope there's enough information in this video to help you decide whether or not Barr Nunn is right for you. And if it's right for you, then when you talk to a recruiter, tell them my name. My name is Paul Johnson, and my truck number is 3560. Again, my truck number is 3560. That way I could get a referral bonus. But like I said, I don't really need it. And that's why I'm not going to pressure you into working for Barr Nunn, because if I need $1,500, I could get most of that in my next paycheck. So I hope this video helps you out, and you all have a good day.